It was late evening when the rain came down heavier than usual. The streets glistened under the dim yellow streetlights, and cars rushed by, splashing water into the gutters. Inside a small, worn-down apartment building on the edge of town, Daniel wiped his tired hands on his jeans. He had just finished a long shift at the auto repair shop, grease still smudged across his knuckles. He wasn't just tired, he was exhausted. But he had no choice. Every day was a fight to make ends meet, not just for himself, but for his little girl, Lily. Lily was 7, bright-eyed, and full of questions about life. She was the reason Daniel kept going. After his wife passed away years ago, raising Lily had become both his greatest challenge and his only source of joy. Money was tight. The bills piled up. Rent was overdue again. And he could feel the landlord's patience thinning with every passing day. That night, as Daniel locked up his tiny apartment, he heard footsteps on the stairwell. When he turned, he saw her shivering, soaked to the bone, and hugging a worn-out backpack to her chest. "Excuse me," she whispered, her voice trembling, do you know if there's a place around here where I can stay just for tonight?" Daniel hesitated. She couldn't have been more than 20. Her clothes were soaked, her hair clung to her face, and her eyes carried the look of someone who hadn't eaten properly in days. "You homeless?" Daniel asked gently. She bit her lip, embarrassed, and nodded. I just need a roof for tonight. I'll figure something out tomorrow." Daniel glanced back at his apartment door. He barely had enough space, and every dollar mattered. But then he thought of Lily. How would he want someone to treat her if she was out here, alone in the rain? "Look," he sighed, pulling his keys back out, "I don't have much. But I've got a spare room. You can stay the night. No funny business. Deal?" Her eyes widened in relief, tears mixing with raindrops. I'll pay. I promise. I'll pay for a month, even if it's just one night. Please." Daniel frowned. She looked like she didn't even have enough for a meal. But the desperation in her tone told him she meant it. "All right," he said finally, opening the door, "come in. Let's get you warm." The small apartment smelled faintly of coffee and motor oil. Lily peeked out from her bedroom, curious. "Daddy, who's that?" she asked. "This is, a guest. She's gonna stay with us for a bit," Daniel said, unsure what else to call her. The young woman forced a smile and crouched to Lily's level. "Hi there. I'm Emily." Lily tilted her head, studying her for a moment, then grinned. "Hi, Emily. You look hungry. Do you want my cookie?" Daniel's heart sank. Lily rarely got treats, and now she was offering hers without hesitation. Emily's eyes welled up again. She nodded slowly. "Thank you, sweetheart." That was the beginning. What Daniel thought would be just one night stretched into days. Emily insisted on helping around the apartment, cooking, cleaning, even walking Lily to school when Daniel's shifts ran late. She laughed easily with Lily, and slowly, cautiously, Daniel began to trust her. But there was something about her that didn't add up. Her posture, her manners, even the way she spoke, it didn't match the picture of someone who had grown up on the streets. Sometimes, when she thought no one was watching, Daniel caught her staring out the window, lost in thought, her fingers gently tracing a gold locket she never took off. One evening, while Emily was setting the table, Daniel asked quietly, "So, what's your story? You don't seem like someone who's been out here long." Emily froze, then placed the dishes down carefully. It's complicated. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Complicated how? She looked him straight in the eye, her voice steady but soft. My family has money. A lot of it. But that doesn't mean I had a home. My father is a millionaire. Maybe even more. But his house never felt like family. I left. I wanted to know what life was like outside the gates, without the cars, without the bodyguards. Just real life. Daniel blinked, stunned. Wait. You're telling me you chose this? Emily nodded, ashamed. It sounds crazy, doesn't it, but I wanted to be free. And I thought I could manage. Turns out, I couldn't. Until you. Daniel didn't know what to say. He had been fighting tooth and nail just to survive, and here was someone who had walked away from everything he'd only dreamed of. But before he could respond, Lily's voice rang out from her room, Daddy. Emily. Come see my drawing. They both turned, their heavy conversation broken by the innocence of a child. Weeks passed. Emily became like family. Lily adored her, and Daniel couldn't deny the warmth Emily brought into their lives. But the truth Emily carried weighed heavily on her. And eventually, it came knocking literally. One Saturday morning, a sleek black car pulled up outside the apartment building. Two men in suits stepped out, and behind them came an older man with sharp eyes and a presence that commanded attention. Emily. He called, his voice cutting through the hallway. Emily froze at the sound. Daniel instinctively stepped in front of her, protective. Who's this? Daniel asked firmly. The man's eyes narrowed. I'm her father. Emily's face crumpled. Dad, please. Her father's voice thundered. Do you have any idea what you've put us through? We thought you were kidnapped, dead, gone. And here you are, living in some mechanic's apartment. Daniel bristled, his fists clenching. But Emily stepped forward, her voice breaking. Dad, this place gave me something your mansion never could. A family. A home. Love. Daniel didn't treat me like a problem to solve or a name to protect. He treated me like a person. And Lily, she reminded me what kindness looks like. For the first time, her father faltered, his gaze softened ever so slightly as he looked at Daniel and Lily. The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken truths. Then, Emily's father let out a slow sigh. You've changed, Emily. And, maybe I've failed you. But if this man and his daughter mean that much to you, then, perhaps I should be grateful to them. Daniel stood speechless, caught between disbelief and relief. Emily turned to him, her eyes glistening. Daniel, you gave me a chance when you had nothing to spare. You reminded me that home isn't about wealth, it's about heart. I'll never forget that. In the weeks that followed, Emily's father quietly paid off Daniel's debts, though Daniel only found out later. Emily continued to visit often, not as a stranger seeking shelter, but as family. One evening, as they all sat together around the tiny dinner table, Lily looked up and said with a smile, "See, Daddy, sometimes helping one person can change everything." Daniel chuckled, ruffling her hair. "Yeah, kiddo. You're right." And Emily, sitting beside them, whispered softly, "I'll pay for a month, but you paid me with a lifetime of kindness." Closing message. Narrator's voice. In a world where wealth often blinds us to the true value of connection, Daniel's simple act of compassion bridged the gap between two very different lives. Sometimes, giving when you have little is worth more than all the riches in the world. Because kindness, real, selfless kindness, has the power to change not just one life, but many.